Hello, it's Andrine, a Jewish American priestess, and today I'm coming to you on the Tekufah of Summer Solstice. That's that transition quarter point in the year between the spring and the fall. It's the halfway, midway point of the year where the sun is at its highest in the sky. And when we come into a time of abundance with all of the flowers and fruit that is coming ripe. And for the occasion, I've polished up my copper altar bowl, and I've got a mirror in the center wishing us this blessing, this priestly blessing, priestessly blessing, understanding that through the mirror we can recognize the divine in ourselves. And so today I'm going to do a reading with the theme of abundance. What kind of abundance are we calling in or is presenting to us at this time of year? We're going to do 3 separate readings, and I'm going to take out some of the plant life that I pulled out of my garden just now to choose from. And we're going to let you choose from either this, which is a flowering parsley, for number 1. For number 2, we've got some flowering lavender. And for reading number 3, we've got some flowering thyme. So take a minute to determine which of these 3 plants, herbs that are flowering right now in the garden, are calling to you and leading you into your reading. Again, number 1 is the flowering parsley. It looks like this, if you can see it. Number 2, flowering lavender. And number 3, flowering thyme. I'll put the timestamps down below, and I'll see you in your separate readings. Hello, those of you who chose the flowering parsley. And this is the parsley that we have growing in our garden that we used for Passover. So at that time when we were eating a fresh spring leaf off our Passover plate, now that Passover parsley has flowered into an abundant floral sort of an umbrella almost. I really love how it attracts the different insects in our garden right now at this time of year. Parsley is that symbol of spring, one of the very first herbs that come up when we plant it. We usually plant them at Tu B'Shvat so that they're ready for Passover when Passover comes in the springtime. And now it's coming into some kind of abundance. And that's what we're talking about today. What is coming up for you in forms of abundance at this Tekufah, the summer solstice that we have just entered. I'm going to lower the tripod so we can see a little bit more clearly as we go into our reading. So bear with me. So for our reading today, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to pull out a deck of cards. I've got a bowl with little slips of paper that have all of my decks on them. And we're going to pull out a deck for you, and then we'll pull one card from that deck, and then we'll do some Hebrunes as well. So let's take a look and see which deck wants to come for you parsley people. And this is the slip of paper. Let's open it and see. And we have the Sooth Oracle. Okay, I'll go grab that and I'll be right back. So this oracle is something I got online. I saw it being advertised while they were kickstarting it. And I chose it because it looked really beautiful and interesting. And it's got some very unusual, very kind of archaic readings in it. So, but we're going to just pull one card. We're going to just shuffle. It's got 2 different kinds of cards in it, but we're just going to shuffle the entire deck and see which card, which message wants to come. And I'll read a little bit from the book as well, because it is a very interesting and unusual, sort of poetic almost oracle. Let's see, what card for the parsley people wants to come today and give us a message about abundance in this summer solstice time of year. I see it right here. Okay. This is what your card looks like. I like that it's got this woven hand and several bowls and maybe the moon and stars. I'm going to set that down here and we'll look it up in the book and see what that one represents. Oh, it's the one that's on the cover of the book. Okay. All right, so this card is called Lines of Life. And in this deck, it talks about the weaving of certain things. So these cards are called the ways. And so each of the way cards has a spin and a thread. I'll hold it up while I read the spin. Spindle carries secrets, spinning lettered whites. This the three can cipher. In this the three make light. Walking down the old path, trailing staff and stone, they spin the lines of life long and speak what's out of sight. Up the lane and then some, distaffs full of tone. Three unmarried women raise the holy stones. Voices sing the shadows. Voices ring the night. Earth is writ with lines. They spell out life. These the three walk humming. Secrets whispered. All is right. And then the thread for this card says, you glimpse the warp and weft of being and of change. In the center of the vortex, great power and energy can be raised and directed into past, future, and the present moment. Attend to the way of spiraling, the patterns of terrestrial and celestial motion, and position yourself at the center. In this movement, move neither forward nor back, but only now and being. Traveling far is not always what is required. In this motion, travel near but deep. You are exactly where you are meant to be, at the center of the vortex of your own life and your own becoming. Gather inward. Watch the motions of the very young and the very old. Aligned in the center of the spiral, you can touch the threads of fate, wholeness, and interconnection. In the name of peace, direct your energy here. Wow, well, that's a reading in and of itself. So in terms of abundance, look within. Trust that past, present, and future are as they should be. And look deep within to find your way. I love that for you. I'm going to set this up at the top of the bowl. Maybe we'll put parsley right near it. You think about that in terms of like the parsley having first been the leaf and then turning into flower, and then next will become seed. I really love that. So we're here right now, and we're going to do, I think we're just going to do a 3 rune reading today, since that card had so much to say already. And I'm just going to kind of shuffle into my bowl. I'm not going to look. Right now I'm using these mystery wood Hebrunes, and I think, I'm pretty sure it's maple, but when I sourced this wood, they did not tell me what style of wood it was, so I just made them very, very large in my hand. So I'm going to pull out 3. We're going to do that 3, that idea of that sort of past, present, future, maiden, mother, crone and what is, what might be, and what is the concern right now. So we'll start with one. I'm not looking as I pull these because they are quite large. And we have the Vav at the top. Ooh, there come the other two. Aleph in the center and Kuf at the bottom. Again, I think I might pull this in a little closer so we can see exactly what we're looking at. Okay, the way I like to read 3 is at the top is what is our current situation, and we have the letter Vav, Vav being the letter that means and. Literally, it is the word and in Hebrew, so it's all about connection. It's seen as a peg or a hook, like in the Mishkan, the temple, the mobile temple in the wilderness. It was the thing that held things together, little pins that would hold the veils around the Holy of Holies. It's also this sort of a symbol of a tall standing person who's rooted firmly in the earth but reaching up toward the sky like a sprout. And so there's this connection between heaven and earth, between human and divine, between one thing and another. And that's where we are right now. We're trying to make connection with where we are and where we might go, with ourselves and the divine, with ourselves and another. The Vav also has this sort of magical grammatical thing that if one attaches a Vav to a word that is already past, it changes its tense to future. And if you attach it to a future tense verb, it changes it to the past. So it's got this sense of governing time, which is what we're talking about in this card, is past, present, and future, and trying to discern where we belong in that continuum. And right now, we are in the place of the and. Not neither here nor there, but and. It's affiliated with the sense of hearing in the Sefer Yetzirah, the Book of Creation. And so I get the feel that it's about listening in deep. Again, what the card was speaking of is going neither past nor future, but listening into where you are right this moment to focus on what the message is from the divine right now in this moment. It's the number 6 in Gematria, so it has that connection with the 6th day of creation, which is the day on which the divine created all animal life, including humans, in order to find a connection between themselves and something else. Although the divine is all, it still had differentiated itself into separate parts. So we're trying to unify. We're trying to bring back together the things that have been separated. But we're still remaining where we are in the moment. And it is, again, about union, but it could be union between oneself and the divine, or between oneself and another, or just between oneself and oneself. And again, with the connection of this particular card, I get the sense that it's about finding connection with yourself. And then discovering, like with the mirror, that you are inherently made up of divinity. So that's where we are right now in the world, in this time, in this sense of abundance, is how we'll find the abundance, but we find it within ourselves. The center letter in a reading of this shape is, what is our fear or our challenge? And we have the letter Aleph, and Aleph, of course, is the first letter of the Aleph Bet. It is the number 1. So the oneness, the connection, the bringing together all of things divine and otherwise. We have a Vav that's right in the center also of the Aleph. So there is that connection here with the Yud above, with the divine name of the Yud He Vav He, and a Yud before a stylized Yud below, which is also divinity above and divinity below. Aleph is the first letter of the word Adam, which means human. Adamah, which means mud. And it's also the first letter of many and most of the names of the divine in Torah. The El, Adonai, El Elyon, Elohim, all of those begin with Aleph. So we've got these connection, and maybe that's the fear or concern, that maybe we're not feeling connected with divinity right now. We're not feeling that oneness. We're not understanding that we are made up of divinity right now. That there's a fear that somehow we have been forgotten, that that abundance isn't here, and that we're not really connected. We're not being able to balance above and below. Aleph is also the mother letter of air. So it speaks to breath. It speaks to the wind and all that part of our body that breathes, the lungs, the chest, that central part of ourselves, the divine breath within us, this creation element of air and wind, and that which gives us breath. Maybe a connection to the trees even, because they're the ones who can take carbon dioxide as we exhale and transform it into oxygen so that we'll have the appropriate mix of chemistry in the air that we breathe. And I like to see Aleph also as a kind of crossroads. So we're at a place where we have to decide which way to go. And unlike a regular crossroads where it's just an X and you can turn left or right or forward or back, this one's got a little bit of a dog leg in it. So you may be coming down the path. Do I turn right here? Do I go up here straight? Do I turn left? Do I come down and, zigzag one way or the other? And so we have to make a decision. Maybe that's where we are with this connection. We have to decide which way to go. But the great, wonderful thing about the mother letter of air and the breath is that we can just pause. We can just pause and take a breath. And when we do that, we'll better be able to make the decision about which direction to go at that crossroads. If we can focus on the oneness and the divine name, and then we'll know which direction to go and listen in. And like I said, with the Vav is about hearing the name, hearing the voice of the divine, being able to balance that which we need to balance in order to find our way forward. But for this moment, maybe we sit at the crossroads. We sit with the three wise women who are there at the crossroads, the past, present, and future, and look inside, take some breaths, sit in meditation, and find our way forward from there. And our advice and our outcome is the final letter of our reading, and it's the letter Kuf. And Kuf is the first letter of the word Kadosh, or Kodesh, which means sacredness, holiness. Sometimes it's translated as holiness. It's literally that which is designated for service to the divine. So finding the sacred in wherever we are, not rushing forward to the next thing or hearkening back to the past and mourning what we've left behind, but being right where we are and really looking for the sacredness of this moment, even if it's harsh, even if it's challenging, even if we're feeling disconnected. Kuf is also the first letter of the word Kof, which means monkey. And as humans, we often have that monkey mind, which is trying to figure the thing out, figure out the next thing. And you can see it's got that little monkey tail that's hanging down from this post that it's standing above. So we have to balance that primate urge to jump around and decide immediately what needs to be done or play or be animalistic, and the divine part of us, which is that kadosh, that kedusha, the holiness that exists within us. Kuf is affiliated with the foundation of sleep. So maybe it's a good time to get good rest and dream a little bit, listen to our dreams. I love that Kuf is the number 100 in Gematria, so it's got that sense of the Aleph, the 1 times 10 times 10. So an ultimate manifestation of the oneness of the divine. 100 is taking the 10 commandments and the 10 Sephirot, those divine emanations, and multiplying them times each other. It said that Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born. So sometimes we have to wait a very long time to get the thing we wished for. And I think about Kuf as being this affiliated sort of with his magical quality of being able to transform the mundane into the sacred. So when we are able to sit and take a breath and find the connection between above and below, between past, present, and future, we can discern the holiness of the situation. We can take something that is mundane or just run-of-the-mill and transform it into something that is sacred and holy. Much in the way that, say, Jacob found a stone to use as a pillow and then set that up as an altar. You can make altars out of whatever it is that you are finding sacred in the world, out of these flowering parsley, which, many people would just chop up or throw away, but there's something very sacred about this flowering right now. There's something very sacred about sitting at the crossroads, finding the connection between yourself and the divine. Something very sacred about doing nothing, not trying to push forward or fall back, but just being right where you are, finding the light within, trusting that you are exactly in the place that you should be right now. So for those of you who chose the parsley, this has been your reading for the summer solstice, the Tekufah of the summer solstice. And I hope that you found it useful in finding your abundance right now, just right exactly where you are in this moment. If you did like this, you can like and subscribe. And if you're interested in purchasing the Hebrunes, I have a link below. But no pressure at all, and we hope to see you here next time. Hello, lavender people. Thank you for coming to this reading and learning about abundance. Right now we're in the flowering time of the lavender, and my garden is full of lavender that I planted for my younger daughter, who's a huge lavender fan. The lavender is planted amongst the blueberry bushes, and so it attracts the insects that bring in that pollination that fertilizes the blueberries, and the blueberries are starting to bloom up right now in the garden. I just had a handful of them when I was out there picking these flowers today. So there's a kind of abundance that's coming in with the blueberries, as well as the flowering lavender and the bees and all that they bring. So our first message is be available to attract pollination. I'm going to set that above. And one of the ways we're going to do this today is we're going to pick a deck from my bowl of decks. I have a little bowl with pieces of paper that have all of my decks, oracles, tarot, all the different kinds of things I have on them. We'll have one deck that will come out today, and we'll choose one card from that deck, and then we'll do some Hebrunes as well. Let's see what deck wants to come out for lavender people. Got one in my hand. Let's take a look. We have the Sovereign Oracle. Okay, and I think I have that right here, so let me grab it. This is a deck. It's got 93 cards in it, and each of them has a word on it and then a sort of description of what those words could mean. Pull out the instruction cards, and we're going to shuffle these up and see which one card wants to come out for those of us who have chosen the lavender today. Whoa, there's one. I'm just going to keep shuffling them because I've flipped a bunch of them. There it is. Generative. Very nice. Generative. It says, create an environment conducive to productivity. Keep going, even if you are feeling bored with your creation. Like all masters, you will evolve yourself through the work. Generative. So we're finding the thing that's generative for you in this abundant time. I'm going to set this up here. Hopefully we can still see it. I'll zoom in a bit as we pull out our letters today. So what is it what environment are you cultivating right now? And maybe like that lavender, you are the one who is attracting the pollinators that are coming to fertilize the fruit. Maybe you are, again, feeling bored with your creation, but you will evolve yourself through the work. So keep going is the message that's saying here, even if you are feeling maybe not as enthused as you were initially with your creation. I'm going to pull out some Hebrunes today. I'm going to do 3, maybe a little more for this reading. I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll see. These are the Hebrunes on mystery wood. When I had this wood sourced, they weren't able to identify what type it was. I'm pretty sure it's a maple. They're quite large pieces. I'm going to shuffle them up to the best of my ability and not look as I pull them out. We'll start with 3 and see where we go. Whoop, there comes the first one. And it is the Ein Sof. It's the blank. So we'll set that one at the top. Our second letter is that which is representing the fear or the challenge in our situation. And we have the Shin. Okay. And then our third letter is our advice or our outcome, depending on the circumstances. Ooh. Oh, we've got 2 more. Okay, that's helpful. Knocked that one right out of the way. So we've got 2 at the bottom. 2 outcomes, Vav and Resh. Okay, we'll start with reading those and we'll see where we go from here. All right, so the Ein Sof at the very top of our reading. So this position is the position of where we are right now. Where we are right now in this time of the summer solstice, the abundance as it comes in. And the Ein Sof is that blank. So again, it doesn't have anything carved on it, but it is this substrate of the blank page. We don't really know what's happening. It's sort of the void, the unformed. In Hebrew, it's the tohu vavohu, that primordial chaos, sometimes called the Tehom meaning the deep, that like before the waters were differentiated above and below, there was this, unformedness, this kind of chaos that existed in the universe that was divinity and yet was differentiated from divinity as well. So it's this boundlessness. So it's infinite potential, but also again, made up of creative energy, that generative energy. So we're creating this environment that is conducive to productivity. And this environment is the Ein Sof. It's that space. It's the space that is made so that creation can exist. There's this concept of tzimtzum, which is contraction. When the divine was intent on creating the universe, they had to create space first in order to have room outside of divinity or within divinity to create stuff. And this idea was presented in Kabbalah of contracting, the divine contracted themselves down into one point so that creation could happen. This contraction, which is a phrase that we use for birth, right? So contraction must happen. This withdrawing right now in order to make space, to create that environment so that something can come into being. So maybe that's where we are right now. It's like we are the ones who are attracting the pollinators, as I said. We are the ones who are creating that space, making that space a fertile ground so that creation can happen. Maybe we're improving our health, making our home more livable or beautiful, helping to just set up the space. We're not actually doing the creation yet, we're setting up that space so that there is infinite potential for creation. And this Ein Sof also represents divinity itself, like so all of time and all of space is contained within the Ein Sof. And it's outside of time as well. So there's this idea of what happened before time. Before time existed, what was there? There was the Ein Sof, that without end. And after time, there will also be this space of endlessness that does not exist within time. So eternity, everything that is, was, and will be. This idea of just becoming is held up in the Ein Sof. So again, infinite potential, this idea of the void, the nothingness, the no-thingness, and the everythingness is where we are right now. We're in this generative space where we are creating the environment so that we can start the creation, or creation can start within us, however it is. Maybe we're doing a little bit of withdrawing from the world so that there's space for creation to happen. That's where we are right now. And then we move into the center letter, and the center letter is that which is seen as a fear or a challenge. We've pulled out the shin, and the shin, it's really interesting that came up here because the shin is the mother letter of fire. And it is sometimes seen as a destructive force, but it's also a creative force. Sometimes we need fire in order to, again, create space. There's an agricultural technique known as slash and burn, where we have to take a field and burn it down in order for it to be fertile enough so that the ash can then make that soil fertile so that plants can grow. So our fear, our challenge is the fire. But the shin is also the letter that represents the summer in the year. As we're just coming into the summer solstice, this is really interesting. Is that hot time of year where everything is on fire, hopefully not literally, but fire is happening. Certainly heat. It's representative of the sun and the moon and the stars, all things light. It's the mother letter of fire, so it's that creation element of fire, the fire that is above, as opposed to air or water. And it's the letter that is the first letter of the word Shekhinah. So the indwelling presence of the feminine divine is the Shekhinah, and the shin begins that letter, that word. If you look very closely at the shin, you can see that there are 3 yuds at the top and 3 vavs coming down, and then a vav across the bottom, which is vav meaning and, it's the connection letter. So we've got the yud, 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 which is seed, 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 or I don't know how else to describe it. It's 10, the number 10 is sort of like a sperm. It's that seed from which all things can sprout. And then the vav, which is connection. Vav, 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 vav. We've got 4 vavs, 4 different kinds of connections, 3 different kinds of seeds, and it's making this fire-like shape that also looks like a crown. So the sovereignty is wrapped up in it. There's a lot of power that comes with the shin. And I guess that creation element of fire that sometimes feels like a destruction element. But again, to make space, sometimes we have to burn it all down. And it is that hot, hot letter. So there's something really fiery. And maybe that's the fear or the concern right now as we're coming into the summer. Things are hot. Maybe they're hot in relationship. Maybe things need to burn down in order for them to grow up again. And the shin is that concern that you're having a concern or a fear about. In this time of generation, how can we be generative when things are hot and on fire, when there's so much passion, when there's so much, maybe even anger? But shin is also the first letter of the word shalom. Shalom, which is frequently translated as peace, but literally means wholeness, bringing together all the parts that have been disparate and bringing that to shalom, to wholeness and peace. Peace not as an absence of war, but as a gathering in of all the parts. And change begins with shin, the word shini. And shuva, return, also begins with shin. So there's some kind of major change that's happening, some kind of returning to self, some kind of collection of all the parts to bring it back to a whole, that indwelling presence of the divine, and fire. It's a lot. So understandably a fear or a challenge that you might be coming through as we're generating at this time of abundance in the summer. Also just the summer can be super hot, and that can be dangerous for, again, wildfires coming in, or just trying to keep our gardens alive, keeping hydrated, making sure we don't overdo. That's what's the concern or the challenge right now in this generative moment for you. And then at the bottom we had 2 letters jump out for our outcome or our advice. And interestingly, I'm just going to show you as I hold them up. We've got Vav and Resh, and you can see that they're different, but they've got similar aspects to them. They both have a stem and a little bit of a head. What was that? Okay, we just had a pop coming out of one of my fire things. Pretty sure it was the ancestor candle. So ancestors are talking to us right now. Keep an eye on that to make sure we don't have a fire issue, fire situation. That was very interesting. Ancestors are speaking up. So our advice here maybe is to speak to the ancestors. Maybe they are calling right now and saying it's time to listen. Vav is the letter that represents connection. As I said, it's literally the word and in Hebrew. And it is also the letter that is about listening, about hearing. So listen in to the ancestors right now. Is there maybe calling to you? And Resh is the letter that is the head in the body. Rosh, which is like the beginning of a thing, Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Chodesh, the head of the month, the head of the year. Also just the head in our physical body. So thought is affiliated with Resh, as well as new beginnings. So like as a baby, like make like a baby and head out, right? So we've got head coming forward, a new beginning coming in. So our advice or our outcome is something new is going to happen. There's going to be a connection. There's going to be something that is both coming in and connecting. And as I was saying, with both of these looking like they have a staff and a little bit of a bend at the top, they both have a little bit of humility with them. This is somebody standing tall and having their head slightly bowed so that they are being aware of where they stand in relationship to divine. And the Resh has also got that bowed head, and it has that significance of a little bit of humility as well, that one's head is bowed when one stands before the divine. Resh can also symbolize wickedness. Rocha means wicked, but I don't get the sense of it here in this reading, because we're talking about abundance and generativeness. More so that Resh has got this sense of newness, something new coming in, communication as well. So interestingly, Vav is about hearing, and Resh is about, it's connected to the planet Mercury, which is the communication planet. It's the right ear in the body. So we're listening in with our right ear, with our dexterous ear. It's the binary transformation of seed and barrenness. So we don't know which way it's going to go, whether there's going to be seed or barrenness, but we're listening, we're paying attention, we're using our intellect. We are bowing our heads. The word Rosh means somebody who is poor or humble. So as we are in our humility here, we're using our intellect to discern what is coming in as a new beginning, whether the seed is here. And I affiliate Resh with the Tower in Tarot. The Tower, which is of course about destruction and chaos and sudden change, bringing us back up to the Shin with that Shini, that change and the fire. But things often need to be cleared out before we can start a new project. So something is maybe having to be transformed. I think definitely needing to be transformed in some way before this generativeness can begin. And we're listening to the ancestors. We're listening in to that connective piece, connecting to the divine, connecting to those who came before, planting ourselves in the earth, reaching up toward heaven. We've got, again, 4 vavs in the shin itself. So connection, 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 connection. Seed, 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 seed. And then we've got seed and barrenness here. So we're maybe reaching out to the ancestors, finding out the connective piece, finding out what is needing to happen to generate more beginnings. Again, Resh is right there in the first word of Torah, Bereshit, in the beginning. So Resh is all about beginnings. Something new is going to happen. But before that, there's going to be emptiness. There's going to be a contraction. There's going to be possibly a fire, some kind of destruction or transformation through fire, a slash and burn that needs to happen to make the ground fertile so that this new beginning can happen, that connection can happen. I want to do, I think I want to do a couple of Nordic runes on this reading. It just feels like the right thing. And I'm just going to stick one on either side here of the shin to get us an idea about what else, what other information and messages do we have for lavender, generative. Okay, we have manas. And we have Rhytho. All right. Manas is the letter that is about humanity and our place in it. I don't know if you can see that, okay? Our place in humanity, sort of the note in the song of humanity that we are singing. And this letter is composed of 2 wunyos in Nordic runes, which are the joy rune. It's like facing each other with joy. So for your part in it, it's important to find out what your purpose is and what it is you're supposed to be doing in order to bring about this generative piece. Maybe you are the lavender that's attracting the bee. Maybe you're the one who is contracting to make space. Maybe you're the one who's burning everything down. Whatever it is, face yourself, your divine, and others with joy in order to find your place in humanity right now. And on the other side, I have the Rhytho. Rhytho is about riding forward, the journey rune. It's a spiritual journey, but you're riding forward now. As we come through this time, that new beginning is going to show up, and you'll get out there and ride away toward the next iteration of what is coming with Rhytho. So journeying is going to be a big part of this. And again, maybe it's sitting with the blankness, sitting with the Ein Sof, sitting with the fire and watching the destruction happen, knowing that you are protected, and knowing that this part of your tune, your note in the song of humanity is going to be an important factor to bring about this connection, to bring about this new beginning as it comes in. So yeah, find your place, find out what it is that you are feeling is calling you. And again, listen to the ancestors. They are calling right now too. That big pop was the ancestor candle saying, hey, pay attention. Something is maybe a destruction that is making space for the newness that's coming in. So for those of you who chose lavender and generative, make sure that you are working to create an environment that's conducive to productivity. Keep going with the Rhytho, even if you feel bored with your creation. And like all masters, you will evolve yourself through the work. So even if you don't feel like you are up to it, your place in humanity is finding your place as you do the work, as you follow through with whatever it is you are expected to do in this generative moment. you will become a master as you work through it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, you can like and subscribe. If you're interested in purchasing the Hebrunes, there's a link below. No pressure at all, but hopefully you'll come back and see us next time. I hope you have a beautiful solstice. Hello, those of you who chose the flowering thyme. This is your herb, and this thyme is available, on my deck all winter long. It stays alive. I think it's lemon thyme. I want to spell it. Yeah, I think it's lemon thyme. I use it in cooking, but right now, this time of year, it's got those beautiful little tiny purple flowers that are blossoming. It attracts the bees, and it makes a wonderful ornamental plant, as well as a savory plant for tasting. And I love that it's called thyme. I know it's pronounced differently in different languages, but since we're talking about the summer solstice and the passage of time, it seems really appropriate that we have a flowering time at the flowering time of year. So we're going to do a reading today. I'm going to set that above, and we're going to do a reading by starting with pulling out a card from a deck, and we're going to pull the deck from this bowl full of all of my decks, which are listed on slips of paper. And I'll let the divine choose which deck you get to have today. And then we're going to pull a card from that deck. And then we'll do some Hebrunes as well. Let's see which deck wants to come forth. Oh, we've got one that fell out. We're going to go with that one because I trust the divine. And we have Tarocchi, Rider-Waite Smith. So this is a deck of the tarot cards from Italy, but it's the Rider-Waite Smith deck. So let me go grab that and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the deck that came from Siena, Italy. It's again just a typical Rider-Waite Smith deck. It's got a little bit of a muted tone on it, and it's called Tarocchi in Italian. So I'm going to shuffle these up, and we'll pull one card for you who chose the thyme, the flowering thyme for the summer solstice. Let's see what card comes out for you to talk about abundance in the season. Oof, got too many there. Let's try again. Abundance in this season. Here it is. Oh my gosh, High Priestess. Well, that's pretty good. I mean, I love the High Priestess card. I don't know what to say about that. That's pretty abundant, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. And I'll talk a little bit about the High Priestess card. Let me put the rest of the deck away. So, flowering thyme and the High Priestess. The High Priestess is the number 2 in the tarot. And you can see that she is stationed between 2 pillars, dark and light. She is wearing the moon on her head, and she's got the moon under her feet. And she's holding the Torah. It says T-O-R-A on her lap, a scroll kind of covered up by her mantle. She's very watery looking because of all the blue robes flowing down, and then behind her is this veil, maybe symbolizing the Holy of Holies, covered in pomegranates, so very fertile, very feminine, full of seeds and palm trees. And the pillars, I think, represent Boaz and Joachim. So a lot of symbology here. The High Priestess is said to be sort of secretive, having the secrets of the inner truth, secrets of the inside of the veil. And I love the High Priestess. She's one of my very favorite cards, representing sort of that mystery of the moon, representing the channeling of the divine indwelling presence of the Shekhinah herself. So congratulations for those of you who chose the flowering thyme. We have this beautiful number 2. Number 2 being 1 plus 1, right? So you have the divine one and the divine counterpart, the masculine and feminine divine, coming together into a union. here together with the flowering thyme and High Priestess. Beautiful. That's pretty abundant, if you ask me. I'm going to set her up here. Let me see if I have a little. I do. I have a little block. I can kind of balance her in, make you stand her up. Okay. Now we're going to pull out some Hebrunes, and I have this set of Hebrunes, which is mystery wood. When I sourced this wood, people who sold it to me did not know what type of tree it was. I have a sense that it's maple. They're very large, so I'm going to shuffle them up the best I can without looking, and choose 3 of them to come out today for our current situation, our fear or challenge, and also our advice or outcome for this reading. Okay, our current situation is the letter Dalet. Very nice. Set that there. Dalet. In the center is our fear or challenge. It came jumping out. It is the letter Vav. This letter has shown up in all 3 readings today. And our outcome or advice for our situation is, it jumped out into our Nordic runes. We'll see if we take a Nordic rune today. We have the Yud. Very lovely. Okay, Dalet. Dalet is representative of a doorway. And let me zoom this in a little bit so you can see a little better. Dalet is the number 4 in Gematria. It's the doorway, the liminal space, that place between here and there. So at the Tekufah of the summer solstice, where we are transitioning from spring into summer, that's where we are. We're in this doorway. We're heading in to the abundant time. It's a gate. It's also humility. The word dal means a poor one, somebody who has maybe been humbled. And so it has this sense of humility with it, but great wisdom. The Dalet is the binary transformation of wisdom and foolishness. In the Sefer Yetzirah, the book of creation, each of the letters has a foundation or a transformation, and Dalet represents that continuum between wisdom and foolishness. So being able to discern what is wise and what is foolish as we step through the doorway, as we are in this threshold about to step into summer. And it's the number 4, as I said. It's got all things 4 in it. 4 directions, the 4 elements, the 4 seasons, the 4 letters of the divine name, 4 legs of a table. Something pretty stable, but also, multi-directional. It is the letter that's affiliated with the planet Mars. So there's a little bit of heat or hostility, but like protectiveness. There's definitely protectiveness that comes with Mars or Aries. They're that warrior planet, but it's also, again, just a protective thing. It's a warrior, but it's a warrior for protection. And it's got this sense of transition. So the Dalet is the same letter in Greek. The delta of Venus is seen as the portal to life through the divine feminine genitalia. So we've got this portal that brings us into birth. And with the High Priestess here, that just seems so beautiful, that the Dalet is here saying it's time to birth. Whatever it is coming in for you, it's time for us to walk through that doorway, to step through. And we're standing in that doorway right now. And maybe we're between those pillars of the door, and we have a mezuzah that we can touch in to make sure that we are connected to the divine as we take our steps forward. So that's where we are right now, is this moment of transition. Our fear or our challenge in this moment of transition is connection. So the letter Vav, which represents it's literally the word and in Hebrew, and like I said, this showed up in every reading today in different positions. But that Vav is and it means, connection between above and below, between heaven and earth, between the divine and human, between humans and another, and between oneself and oneself. It's the number 6, which is the 6th day of creation. the day upon which the divine created animals, including humans, in order to find connection with another being. And created, humans, male and female, so that connection could happen, so there'd be a masculine and a feminine coming together. Vav is also connected to the foundation of the Sefirot in Yesod, which is that connection piece between heaven and earth, and the foundation in the body, sort of the genitalia again. So we have the feminine genitalia, masculine genitalia. So maybe while we're in this place of transition, coming through that feminine aspect of ourselves, we're a little bit concerned about the masculine aspect of ourselves overpowering that. That andness is a little much. So we're a little afraid of it. Maybe we're a little concerned about it. Vav is also the sense of hearing. So maybe we're not being able to hear. Maybe everything's feeling a little veiled right now, a little secretive. We're not being able to hear properly what we need to hear as we're in that doorway. Which direction do we go? Which is wisdom? Which is foolishness? But the Vav is that connector piece where we have all those little pins and spikes that connect the pieces of the holy temple, the connectors that hold the veils together, the connectors that hold the tents tethered to the ground, the tent pegs on the Mishkan, the mobile temple in the wilderness. We need to find those connecting pieces in order to hold it all together as we walk through the doorway. And again, maybe there's a concern about that connection piece as we step through that doorway. Maybe we're walking away from someone that we're not feeling connected to, or maybe we're walking towards someone that we do want to feel connected to, but we're not sure how that's going to go. So yeah, there's just a lot going on with regards to connection, that and piece in this moment of abundance. How will we achieve our abundance and still hold on to a connection with ourselves, with the divine, with another person? Valid fears, valid concerns. Leaning into that doorway, really trusting into the divine, trusting into the high priestess, trusting that we are the priestess through which the divine communicates. And our outcome here is the letter Yud. And Yud is the seed. Right? It's that little tiniest of all the letters. The letter that represents that one point, the atom that is a building block of all of matter. Everything that exists is made out of tiny little atoms and seeds that are planted and then grow into something. This is like a sprouting of a seed, this Vav, where it's started out here and it grew up toward the sky. But if you look at each of the letters, you'll find the Yud in each one, because it also represents the divine themselves. The Yud He Vav He, the becoming one, begins with the letter Yud. And Yud is also representative of the hand in the body, so the Yad. It's action, it's artisanship, it's the creation of a thing. So we are using our hands to create what we can with the matter that we have, the material that we have. It's the number 10, so it represents the 10 Sefirot, the divine emanations of God, and also the 10 commandments, those restrictions that we are supposed to be cognizant of as we move through the world. The Yud is the foundation of sexuality in the Sefer Yetzirah, so that connection between the masculine and the feminine is wrapped up right here in the Yud. So this is our outcome, or our advice is to find that foundation, to find the seed, to plant the seed, to receive the seed, perhaps all these seeds here on the High Priestess card in the pomegranates. Yeah, some seed is being planted as the outcome here. It is also affiliated with the tribe of Gad in the 12 tribes. Gad means luck. So we've got this luck that's coming with the seed that's being planted, with the sperm that is being excreted into the doorway. So it's an incredibly sexual reading. I don't know how else to say it. It's got this abundant fertility. It's got this holy of holies, which is again representative of the genitalia. The yud being that seed that is being planted. So much going on. This initiation that's happening. This being open to the seed being planted. With the thyme here, and thyme is part of it, like thyme the plant, but like literally thyme. We've got to find the right time for this. And what it's saying is, right now we're in this place of openness that we have to be concerned with, or find the appropriate vessel through which to plant that seed. And when we do, the seed will become planted. And that union between masculine and feminine will create the beginning of a new thing. The manifestation of the divine into the world is going to show up here. So for those of you who chose the flowering thyme today, real fertile, real abundant, and it could be something literal, it could be something metaphorical, that something is being planted and growing in your life. Whatever it is, you can trust the divine has you, that the high priestess is watching over you, that a fertility is there within as you hold on to Torah, as you grasp truth. Allow for the seed to enter and fertilize whatever it is that you are growing right now in your life. I wish you a wonderful Tekufah of the Summer Solstice. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, you can like and subscribe. If you're interested in buying Hebrunes, you can find a link in my description below, but there's no pressure at all. I hope you enjoyed this. I look forward to seeing you here next time.